Hi everybody, mistakes are common. Mistakes are learning opportunities. I want to talk about most common mistakes you make. Thieving heathen, not knowing when to stop, knowing when I'm getting tired and or impatient, and knowing when it's time to get up and walk away. So I'm going to relate this to going to a party. Let's say you get invited to a Christmas party at an acquaintance's house. You've never been to their place before. They're very nice people who host the party, and they give you directions and they say it's down such and such a country road, and you turn past such and such a field, and you get past the brick house, and then you go past the stream and over the bridge, and I'm the fifth house to the left. Oh, great. And then when you're actually doing it, you have no sense of distance. How long between the brick house and the stream? Was it a small stream? Was it a big stream? Did I pass it? And you're lost, even though you have directions. So when do you stop embossing? When do you stop doing reed work? Well, what directions are you following? In doing reed work, for example, I really must insist that looking at the shape of the reed is only half of the information. So if I'm looking, let's just look at the two draw here for just randomly. I'm going to look at how this reed passes through the slot. You could look at it through many different angles. And you can say, well, that reed doesn't pass through the slot all at once. So I'll try to change the shape of the reed. Okay. Before you do that, get a second opinion. And what I'll do is I'll just put this to my lips and create a seal with my lips around the plate and draw in and make the reed vibrate. And I'll feel in my lips and I'll feel in my mouth how that reed responds, how much delay between the time I start drawing in and that the reed actually moves. So I find this reed somewhat sluggish, and I can see I'm going to use my own eyes to just sort of correct this reed shape just slightly. Plinking is essential. Plink until you think the reed has settled back. Now that reed is a little sluggish, but it's not as bad as it was. Just going to adjust the shape a little bit more, and you can see now it's probably closer to entering the slot all at once. I didn't plink, but it's responding a lot better now. I've plinked it a few times. It's probably going to go back to closer to its old shape. Yeah, there's still some delay. But can you see that I'm using visual, and I'm using my mouth, I'm using my ears? So when do you know you're there? When do you know you've arrived at the right house for the party? Is kind of key. Looking at the reed shape, feeling how that reed responds as you go through the process is getting you along the path, past the field, past the gray, past the red brick house, through past the stream, first house on the left. You get that information by stopping and double checking. You're impatient and you're tense. Let me just show you something here. Listen to this and this. Relaxed embouchure. But if the doorbell rings, the dogs bark, my kids are bickering, I'll tense up. My embouchure is going to tense up, and I played what sounded like a relaxed embouchure and what sounded like a tense embouchure. The more tense you are, the worse information you're going to gather, right? The worse you're going to be at gathering the information you need to proceed. So if you can't relax, realize that you're best to quit while you're ahead and do a few short steps. Go from bad to better, and then pick it up sometime later. Go from better to good. Maybe that's where you want to be. Maybe go from good to great, to excellent. You know, take it in small, digestible bits. If you try to go from bad to excellent in one day, that's a tall order, and it's hard to get a bullseye. It's hard to get a hole in one. Maybe you should lower your expectations. Maybe that's part of the answer as well. So that relates to reed work. How does it relate to embossing and over embossing? Well, again, if you're over embossing, you don't know what you're doing. Sorry to be rude, but if you're embossing and thinking that there's some other effect that's gonna suddenly happen when you get it just right, and you're gonna take it right to the edge, I emboss to get a little bit extra crisp, a little bit extra volume, and that's about it. My expectations from embossing are rather low, and I again use landmarks. Look at the reed, take the reed plate, tilt it up. Look at a video that I have called Mystery Embossing Instructions, and there's a clue you try to figure out. You can print out the clue and see what's going on, but I just get a look at the slot and how much light I see on the side of the slot as I push the reed through, and if the reed's touching it, well then I sort of delete that area of embossing. If you're obsessing about embossing, well, good luck. The only mistake you can make while embossing is overdoing it. Emboss until you've reached your goal, and then stop and then walk away. So, Stephen Hathan, I hope that answers your question. And a great question it is. Thank you so much. Send me your questions. Send me your favorite mistakes, and because mistakes are a wonderful way to learn. And why learn from your own mistakes when you can learn from mine? Thanks.